Welcome back to the 2-Minute Warning. Today I'm taking a look at the Buffalo Bills and giving my 3 bold predictions for them in their upcoming season. But before getting to that topic, just a quick, easy question for those of you viewing. What do you think the Bills' record will be in 2021? And of course, keep in consideration that it's going to be 17 games. You think it'll be above 500, below 500? You think they'll go to the Super Bowl? Whatever your prediction is, comment down below and you'll kind of hear my prediction throughout. But getting straight into it, bold prediction number 1 is that Josh Allen will again have a career year in 2021. 2020, he had a phenomenal year based on the first 2 years he had. In year 2, Josh Allen had a good record. They still went 10-6. But stats-wise, having 20 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, still efficient. But going into year 3 and having 37 touchdowns and 10 interceptions, going from a roughly 2 to 2.0 touchdown to interception ratio in year 2 to a 3.7 touchdown to interception ratio in year 3, that is a huge upgrade. And of course, credit goes to Stefon Diggs, but I think in year 4, he's going to be even better for a number of reasons. I think this entire team is super hungry to get after a Super Bowl. They know the Bills are kind of, I don't want to say cursed, but we know the Bills as a whole franchise, Bills Mafia, is hungry for a Super Bowl. And I just think how they got, I don't want to say they got their asses kicked in the AFC Championship, but it was a very dominant game in the Chiefs' favor. So I think this year, Stefon Diggs, he's got one of the best dog mentalities in the NFL. He's going to be hungry for a Super Bowl. He's going to be hungry to get back there. Josh Allen, same as well. And he'll also be playing for a contract. I think it's well known Josh Allen's earned his money up to this point, but why not try to show that he deserves to be the highest paid quarterback in the NFL? Who knows? For, of course, the money factor, that's just a small reason. I don't think that's going to be a huge factor, but it's at least something to consider. But like I said, just being hungrier. And another thing is that the Bills have a 17th game to work with. That's big. If Josh Allen has a hamstring issue or ankle, whatever it is, if he has any injury, needs to miss a game, his stats will still be there. Or if he plays the full 17 games, that's going to give him time to put up more touchdowns, put up more yards, more interceptions. There's a higher probability of that, but still, you guys know what I mean. An extra game in the NFL will definitely increase any player stats. I've said it in several other videos. I think in time with his 17th game being added to the NFL, we're going to see a lot of records broken. We're going to see a lot of career high players for NFL players. And I don't expect, the all-time passing yards in a single season to be broke right away in the first 17-game season. But we might see 5,000 yards more common than we think. We might see 50 touchdown season more common than we think. And I'm not saying Josh Allen's going to do either of those, but I think he's possibly going to top his 4,500 yard season last year, his 37 touchdowns last year. I think he could be pushing 5,000 yards and he'll be over 40 touchdowns this year. And I'm for it. I'm not a Bills fan, but I'm excited to see it. I do want to see Josh Allen and the Bills team get back at it and be competitive this year and give a run at the Chiefs. I don't obviously, like any sports fan, if a sports dynasty happens and it's your team that's building a dynasty, you're going to be for it. But me not being a Chiefs fan, I don't want to see a dynasty be built, and I'd love to see the Bills shut them down. And I've said it in several other videos as well. Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes is going to be an amazing rivalry, just like Peyton Manning, Tom Brady was over the years. The next 10 to 15 years, as long as these guys have, healthy careers, it's going to be a rivalry like that, and I'm here to see it. But I don't want it to be one-sided. I want to see them go back and forth. I think with a career year by Josh Allen, he's going to be able to possibly take one from Mahomes next year. That's not really my prediction for this video, but I just think Josh Allen, even from his year 3 jump, being an MVP conversationalist, going for 4,500 yards, going for 37 touchdowns, he's even going to top those numbers, and we could very well see him get an MVP this year. I don't want to predict him to win MVP because that's extremely bold, and I get that's the point of the video, but I'm just not very confident in that. My bold predictions, they're bold, but I do stand by them and believe in them. For me to pick him as MVP, I don't know. There's no strong favor I'd give to MVP right now, and therefore I just can't predict that. But that's number 1. Josh Allen is again going to have a career high year in 2021. Moving into bold prediction number 2, I believe that the Bills will still have a struggling run game, and it could hold them back. That's kind of the bold prediction. The run game isn't still not going to click. This year they brought in a couple guys, or I guess mainly just one guy. They brought in Matt Breida, and they're going to try and find a dominant starter between a healthy Zach Moss, a bounce back Devin Singletary, and I don't want to say veteran Matt Breida, but definitely a veteran compared to Zach Moss and Devin Singletary. And they're going to be kind of looking for who's a dominant starter here. And to me, that just doesn't really work out a lot of times. You should know day one who the starting back is. You should have a day one go-to 3 down back in my opinion, but I mean, benefit of doubt, maybe someone will pan out and they already do. Maybe they already want to stick with Singletary. I'm not sure. To me, he'd probably be the best option. But point is, you see a couple other teams like the Texans. They got 3 backs that they don't really know what to do with. Phillip Lindsay, David Johnson, Mark Ingram. There's no clear-cut answer there, and that's something I don't like to see. It usually just does not pan out well, and therefore I do think it'll hurt this Bills team not having a day one starter that they're super confident in. I feel like as soon as one guy has a bad game, they're going to automatically throw in a different one as a starter and hope it fixes the problem. But really, they just need a better running back in that backfield, and this seriously could hold them back next year. You saw the Steelers, they could only get so far when they didn't have a run game. And I'm not saying the Bills are to that extreme. I think the Bills do have a better backfield and a better O-line to help push the pile, but I'm just saying it is an issue you cannot ignore. And I get, late in the playoffs when you face a Mahomes or you face maybe a Tennessee Titans, now that they got Julio Jones and A.J. Brown, or Lamar Jackson, you just can't keep up with those guys on the ground. While Lamar can keep up with anyone on the ground, Devin Singletary is not, and you're going to be forced to the passing game no matter what. So I understand it might not be super important when you're in those deep games where the game is won through the air, but I'm just saying they can't have 0 run game, and I do think that they're going to struggle with it, and it's going to have to be a focus in the following offseason. If they win the Super Bowl or not, I do think they're going to be looking into getting a new running back, possibly in the draft, possibly in the offseason, whatever it is. I do think they'll have a run game issue, and there is help there by Josh Allen himself. He's not Lamar or he's not Kyler Murray, but the dude can run for his size. He's a big dude. What is he, 6'5"? And I'd have to guess off the top of my head, I'd probably say 230, 240 in weight. That's a big dude running, and we know he could take a hit. We know he could give a hit, and that's not exactly what you want him to see. But I'm just saying, if he could get out of the pocket, you don't have to worry if he got hit, he automatically broke something. If I see Toothpick Lamar run around, anytime I see him get hit, I'm concerned he broke something, or same with Tua Tagovailoa in his division, a smaller guy. Point is, I think they'll be fine. They'll manage, but I do think this season it won't be a strong suit. They're going to have to address it furthermore, and it will be an issue, but I do think they can overcome it. So bold prediction number 2 again, Bills will still have serious run game struggles. Bold prediction number 3, Buffalo Bills will win the AFC West. I understand that might not be considered bold. That might be the favored pick. But to me, if you think the Bills are going to run away in a landslide win for this division, that is bold. You got to look at the teams in this division. They have drastically improved, in my opinion. Jets, you could cancel them out. They'll be maybe exciting in maybe 5 years. But right now, I don't trust the new head coach, rookie Zach Wilson, a questionable defense, a questionable offense, just question marks all around. You don't have to worry about the Jets or the Patriots and Dolphins. While I do think the Bills will win this division, if a Patriots or Dolphins comes out on top, I will not be surprised for a number of reasons. Dolphins, yes, in the last game of the season, the Bills blew them out, especially for this top 5 Dolphins defense. I think the Bills put up, it might have been pushing 50, if not put over 50 points. It was not a good game for the Dolphins when their season was kind of on the line when it came to making the playoffs. But this Dolphins team, Tua is going to get better. Is Tua going to match Josh Allen's skill? No. Is Tua going to match probably number 5 overall pick skill? No. But he's going to improve and be at minimum an average quarterback with the weapons he has. They have an improved offensive line they drafted Liam Eichenberg, a pretty good tackle, I believe out of Notre Dame in the 2nd round. Backfield has its concerns in Myles Gaskins, but I think it's just as good, if not better, than the Bills' run game. Receiving core, while the Bills have much more star power on the top end between Stefon Diggs, Emmanuel Sanders, Cole Beasley, of course, I think it has more star power on the top end. You could argue that the Dolphins' receiving core is better top to bottom, especially in the back end with the depth. Their star power, I feel like after Stefon Diggs, you could argue the Dolphins have the best 2nd, 3rd, and 4th receiver. I would go Stefon Diggs and then, not in any particular order, but Stefon Diggs, then Jalen Waddle, Devontae Parker, and Will Fuller, then Cole Beasley. In my opinion, maybe Cole Beasley and Will Fuller would be interchangeable, but I'm just saying while the Bills might have the best receiver between the two teams, Dolphins have the 2nd and 3rd best, and then even after that, and your 4th, 5th, 6th guys, Dolphins got guys like Albert Wilson, Preston Williams, Jakeem Grant's kind of a special teams guy, but he can still catch the football. He's a speedy dude that's kind of an X-factor player. Allen Hurns might still be on the depth chart. These are guys that, I'm not bragging about them being, they're going to outplay the Bills, and I'm just saying when you consider the entire receiver room, I do think you could argue the Dolphins have a better receiver room top to bottom when it comes to depth as well. Tight end matchup, I think they win that with Mike Gesicki. So I'm just saying, don't just think, those Bills is the automatic dominant offense over the Dolphins. Well, I think you're talking tier 1 quarterback in Josh Allen, and you're going to like tier 4 in Tua. That'll be the biggest thing, and definitely leaning towards the Bills' favor. It's not like this Dolphins offense can't hold its own in some spots. Looking at the defense, I think you could argue the Dolphins' defense is better up front. They drafted Jalen Phillips. You have Emmanuel Ogbah. Linebacker core, I am a little concerned about for the Dolphins after they release Kyle Van Noy. They still have Andrew Van Ginkel, but, Bills having Tremaine Edmonds, that's kind of a big sway towards the Bills' favor. And the Bills, they got a defensive line too now. Gregory Rousseau, Carlos Basham. The secondary, similar thing. I think the similar thing as the receiver room. I think the Bills have a top end. They have more talent at the top end and the top tier guys, and Tre'Davious White and Micah Hyde. But top to bottom, I would argue the Dolphins have more talent, in the deeper positions and the deeper depth chart. They have their star power as well, and Xavier Howard, Byron Jones. They signed Jason McCourty. They released Bobby McCain, but they did add Javon Holland in the draft. So I would argue possibly their secondary is a little deeper than the Bills, but the Bills have the top tier star power. So really, it's your argument again. I like the Bills to win this division, but the Dolphins can hold their own, and then Patriots as well. Quarterback position is another big question mark in Cam Newton, but coaching staff amongst all three teams, Brian Flores, Sean McDermott, and Bill Belichick, you could argue all of them are just as good as each other. I know Bill Belichick is a GOAT coach, but I'm just saying with Cam Newton, I think these other coaches and Sean McDermott and Brian Flores could be argued as the same level as them when they have the better teams. But again, back to the Patriots, possibly giving the Bills a run. Cam Newton, I know he's not MVP Cam in the slightest, but with the Patriots offense for a second year, having more weapons, I don't want to say the offensive line is better. It's right around the same, but having a much better receiving core. Even then, they don't have a baller receiving core, but having upgrades to Nelson Aguilar and Kendrick Bourne and Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith, and the defense bouncing back. Dante Hightower's come back. Hopefully Stefon Gilmore will be healthy. They added Jalen Mills. They have Devin McCourty. Jackson, the other corner, that's actually pretty underrated because he's in, Stefon Gilmore's shadow. And up front, they added Matt Judon. They drafted Christian Barmore. The Patriots have a very dangerous defense that's coached by Bill Belichick, and they brought back Matt Patricia, and they have a good offensive coordinator in Josh McDaniels. Not to say the Dolphins and the Bills don't, but I'm just saying AFC East is tight. If any team comes out above the Bills, I won't be surprised. Of course, if it's the Jets, I'll be surprised, but I'm just saying I like the Bills to win the division, but I think it's bold enough to pick them to win the division because of how close the other teams are in comparison, in my opinion. But as always, guys, comment down below your thoughts. Do you agree with my bold predictions? Again, they are Josh Allen will have better numbers in year 4 than year 3 of his career, topping the 37 touchdowns and 4,500 yards. The run game will still be an issue, and the Bills will win the division. Again, do you agree or disagree? As always, guys, referring back to the question today, I guess I didn't answer the Bills record, but I have them probably getting right around anywhere from 12 to 14 wins. I'd probably pick 13 or 4 if I was forced to pick a number, but we'll just have to see how the season goes on. As always, guys, thanks for watching. 2-minute warning.